Right, welcome to this advanced Tactica for the Sanguinor. People have been saying you need to get rid of the Sanguinor, he's not good for the Blood Angels, there's better HQs and so on. Done an advanced Tactica here because I'm working on new Blood Angels lists, and the units that I'm keeping and the units that I'm improving and the new units I want to cover in advanced Tactica, bring that all up to date with 8th edition now. Going to go with the index for now. The Blood Angels Codex isn't released yet, may well be quite a while, but I'm pretty sure that any changes between the index and the codex will be very minor, so this video I'm sure will be valid for a long time. So it'll be the Sanguinor we're going to take a look at. It's going to be a showcase video. You're going to zoom in here and take a look at the Sanguinor as well, and then we'll take a look at the unit, the stats, and then we'll show you with some dice rolling and so on how well the Sanguinor can do. So there he is. It's a very iconic pose here. I wouldn't really take him on his own if it wasn't for the Sanguinary Guard. He looks quite at home with them, but on his own, he's a bit sort of sticks out like a sore thumb. So, but surrounded by Sanguinary Guard, he looks the part. So he should be head and shoulders above the rest. There he is in his angelic pose, very iconic there for him. It's a larger base. It is delicate. He's balancing on these papers coming down here, and I've had to glue it a number of times. It's quite weak. It's just lead that's holding that in place. The model's quite heavy and it's quite thin, the structure there, so I may have to do some gluing and pinning just to secure him a bit better in his base just there. But there he is, the Sanguinor character with his chalice and with his carmine broadsword just there. So what we'll do now is we'll check him out in the rules. He's slightly better than I thought he was. Some subscribers have left some feedback saying that there is a benefit there that I've been missing out on, and then we'll line him up with his bodyguard unit. The whole idea is he works in combination with the Sanguinary Guard. So as you've seen in the previous video, Sanguinary Guard I want to keep and use in this new improved Blood Angels army, and then with the new models that I've painted up. So unit of 8. She's got a nice sized unit to work with now. I think that looks pretty good. That deep striking down a landing in the opponent's deployment zone is hopefully will be a terrifying prospect, and they'll do quite well. It'll be quite hard to eliminate all of them, and then they've got the combat potential just to hack their way through a lot of targets. But we'll check out the Sanguinor and the rules next. So the Sanguinor is a fixed point because he's a named character. This may change with the new codex perhaps. If anything, it may get a bit cheaper. I would imagine if there's any change it may well get a bit cheaper. So he's here, 170 points. So he's not ridiculously priced. I think he's cheaper than he was. I'm pretty sure he used to be about 200. It's dropped down to about 170, I think. I could be wrong on that. 170 points I think is quite reasonable. There's nothing to add on top of that, and I think it's worth the points because of the benefits that he grants to other units that are nearby. So there he is, the Sanguinor, just here. So movement 12, weapon skill, ballistic skill 2+, strength and toughness 4, 5 wounds, 5 attacks. So a nice lot of attacks, leadership 9 and 2 up save. It's a decent enough stat line. Remember, it's 5 attacks, he'll be on 2s to hit. He's armed with an carmine broadsword, frag and crack grenades. Remember, he can throw a grenade. A crack grenade, he'll need 2s to hit with it. Only one model per army. So the broadsword is +2 strength. So yes, he's only strength 4, but his sword will push him up to strength 6. So he's going to be on 3s to wound most infantry. It's AP -4, not -3, AP -4. And then D3 points damage. It is a deadly weapon. It really is good. They shall know no fear. Aura of Fervour. You can add 1 to the attacks characteristic of friendly Blood Angels infantry units within 6 of the Sanguinor. So it's not just a unit he joins. Never used to be allowed to join a unit, but now it's a 6-inch bubble that he can affect. Now that's the combination. This is a unit that's going to land anywhere I want on the battlefield. It was a unit of 5 Sanguinary Guard. Now it's a unit of 8, so that adds more points value to him. He's now benefiting not just 5 models but 8 models, so it's a real improvement. then the other thing, this is what people pointed out. Now, again, leave your comments and feedback if you think this is wrong. But people were saying, aura further, you can add one to the attacks characteristic of friendly Blood Angels infantry units within 6 of the Sanguinor. I presumed it didn't include him, but people were saying yes, it does include him. He benefits from that aura. So his attacks really become attack 6, which is really good. An extra attack coming through, there's no complaints about that. They're saying it in the rules. There's a rule that says you benefit from your own aura and so on, just in the 8th edition rulebook. Then Avenging Angel, the Sanguinor can charge even if you fell back in the preceding movement phase. That has come in handy a number of times. He's in combat with someone, he can pull out and not only shoot, but he then can charge something else or recharge back into the combat. So that's very tactically flexible. That is really good. He does come, this is interesting, he comes with a Death Mask. So it is -1 to the opponent's leadership. Instead of paying out 16 points to give all the Sanguinary Guard Death Masks, he gets it within the points cost, and then the opponent's on -1. Easy to forget that. He does come with an in-1 save, and he comes with a Jump Pack Assault, so you can easily keep up with, and the Jump Pack Assault land with that unit, so it's perfectly suited to go with them. And as you can see, look, he's just head and shoulders above them, just there. So I think his stat line and his ability to fight and so on is great, and then the bonus of giving these here an extra attack, it's an extra 8 attacks he'll grant to this unit. It's like paying the points for another 3 of these, but in fact you're actually getting the same benefit and then him on top of it, so it just enhances him really well. The bigger the unit that he's nearby, or the more number of units he's nearby, the more efficient and more of an impact he'll have for the points that you pay. So I think it's a great HQ, it suits them perfectly. So the overall idea of this Blood Angels army is to have a ground force that's going to soften the opponent up, shoot them up, and so on. And then later on in the game, hold it up as late as possible. Obviously these can land and intervene if they have to, but just hold it up as long as possible, turn 3, to land down wherever they need to go, deployment zone of the opponent perhaps onto an objective, and then take advantage of a weakened opponent. The advantage being they aren't going to take as much damage, and the opponent's weaker, they can slay them more effectively. So that's the idea, just to descend down, and it's like this. You see them descending from the sky and the opponent thinks, oh no, the end has come, as they descend down and cause trouble. So what I want to do is line up, if you saw the previous video with the Sanguinary Guard, I want to line up the same scenarios with the Sanguinor helping. Just to give you an idea. Now, one thing to remember is positioning of the Sanguinor. You don't want a situation where he lands, you know, it looks good. You've got to get out of the 7th edition mindset. You can land like this, you know, the old mindset of, here's my character, he's with the unit, he's further away, he doesn't get shot. You know, look out sirs and all that kind of, you've got to get away from that mindset. He has to be as close as possible for the charge. Because sometimes if there is a long charge and they make it in and he doesn't, and then they are then out of that 6-inch bubble, they then lose the benefit. So he's got to make sure he goes with the flow with these. Or there might be a time when you think, no, I just want them to have the benefit, I'm going to make sure he gets close, and then do something like let these charge first, and then he can just tuck in like that. You can do that kind of idea. Let them take the Overwatch, for example, and play it that way. But try and guarantee that he makes it in, or at least keeps up with them as they charge. There's a bit of Tactica there to make sure you do that. So we'll put them in. What I'll do is we'll see if they can do it by themselves to take out this vehicle. I want them to be, this is a unit I want to land and take on anything, no matter what it is, unless it's, you know, a huge gargantuan, something big, but any other kind of target, big monstrous creature, any type of infantry, elite infantry, terminators, Necron wraiths, vehicles. I want them to charge in and at least do a lot of damage, if not destroy. So we'll just tuck him into that also. Okay, so the axes It's 3 axes. I usually get 6 attacks, but that bumps up to 9 with the Sanguinor just there. Yeah, and then hold it right there. Massive, massive bonus that I almost missed. I'm sure some of you are screaming at the screen there. I'm going to look up the Sanguinor Guard. Some of you know what I'm going to show you here. Sanguinor Guard. Here, this is a bonus for these. Heirs of Askelion. You can reroll failed hit rolls for models with this unit within 6 of Blood Angel's Warlord. Or make here's my Warlord, they then get reroll hits. That does away with the need for a chaplain. So again, the Sanguinor and the Sanguinor Guard are a perfect combination to go with each other. They just work off each other. They've got an excellent character in support of them to fight against whatever the target may be. And then you also have extra attacks and rerolls to it. It's a fantastic combination. It just doubles the effectiveness, literally doubles the effectiveness of this unit by adding him in, plus the stats that he has himself. So, you know, 6, for example, the axe is 6 dice, then freeze to hit, then becomes 9 dice, then freeze to hit, re-rolling misses. Then the swords, 10 attacks becomes 15 attacks, re-rolling misses. See the massive benefit of having 8 of these. So swords, and this is where the psychological impact on the opponent. They almost all hit. The opponent's just like, oh no. They're going to die. Whatever they touch, they'll kill. A bad roll there. But then their heirs of Askelion, they all hit. Oh dear. So, 5s to wound. That's a good roll. 5s to save. He'll roll up these saves. Opponent's done well. He's failed to save 2. Then 5s to wound. Yeah. So then some saves to make of 6. No, alright. So those have gone through. They're not ideally cut out for vehicles, but they've done well enough. So then that's D3. Lots of damage. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So they've destroyed their own and they've got through it. Not too bad at all. Didn't need the help from the Sanguinor. He's sort of a backup. You can use him as well. So they've ploughed through enough wounds to take that out. Just there. Pretty good. These guys armed with swords. You know, regular power swords are not going to do that. But it's the D3 damage coming through that gives them the potential to crack open vehicles. And the size of the unit as well just helps tip it in their favour to be able to do that. I know a Rhino's a tame vehicle. It could be a Predator Annihilator, for example, something like that, where they are able to destroy that. So the ability for them to take on any type of unit, I think, is going to be really helpful. Right, so you've got, say, your crash test dummy Space Marines here, charging them in. We'll let them do Overwatch, crack grenade. Nope. And then 9. It's almost a waste of time because of the 2+ armor save that protects these models. But then 6s, just the 1. 4s to wound, yes. 2 up save. Roll a 1. Okay, so wound comes through. That's typical. So put a wound on one of them, but still, it's not enough to bring one of them down. They say they charge in, just for illustrations here. In they go. Perhaps another, you know, sometimes you charge against targets in 7th and you didn't get to go first, but here in 8th, if you charge, you go first. It's amazing. Yeah, you're always going to get to go first as well, so it's really good. Sanguinor, we say he goes in as well, just as backup. We'll see if they can do it by themselves. So you've got the 9 attacks with the axes. Then you've got the 15 attacks with the swords. So do swords first. So freeze to hit. It should be massacre. It's just to show. So you can imagine these are Chaos Space Marines, for example. We're just doing our re-rolls because of the heirs of Askelion. Then we're on wounding on 4s. Like so. There's a fair few haven't gone through. These are on -3, so 6s to save, 666, really good. Roll 3 of them Marines hacked down, and then freeze to hit here with the axes. The axes are helpful because if we freeze to wound, they all failed, and then freeze to wound. Yep, 5 and 6 is to save. 4 more hacked down just there. It's pretty generally a poor round actually. So we'll do the Sanguinor then. I'm going to take it, he's got 6 attacks. Needs 2s. And then freeze to kill. 2 more kills. Knock down to just the sergeant just there. So that's quite a poor round, that one. But even on a poor round, we virtually wiped out that squad. I think it's that terrifying prospect. You know, maybe there's another 2 tactical squads lined up to face them, and they think it's going to be the same fate for them as these move across the board. So that's the idea. They act as a bodyguard for him. He's obviously the higher value. If he stays alive right towards the end of the game, he's going to jump around and cause trouble all over the place, and then these a lot of wounds to try and get through them as well. There's one more test I want to go for here. Right, it's Terminators. It's just to illustrate. You can imagine these are a different faction. This is the training ground for these 2 units. But these charge in. I'm not worried about the Angelus bolt guns. They may well cause a couple of wounds. Well, no, we should find them. I'll find them here, because that's what would probably happen. So 6, 8. Freeze to hit. Because they're -1s, they should pick off a couple of wounds from these Terminators. Yeah, 3+. Yeah, picked up a wound. Just there, that helps. Now the idea, I'm trying to show this one because it's the D3 damage, and it's nasty against things like Terminators. It just makes them more vulnerable. So the benefits there from the Sanguinor himself. We'll do the axes. There's a Scallion. How helpful is that? Really helpful. Got the hits in. Freeze to win these Terminators. Now the minus is going to knock them down, but then their invuln takes over. So we're going to 3+ invuln. Pressure on the Terminators to pass. They've failed 2. So one will go straight through and remove one of them, and the other one's D3. There's a chance here. Roll a 3. So that's 3 wounds, but it's all absorbed on one model. But that's those 2 wounds gone. That's the whole Terminator brought down. It just amplifies the damage that they can do. The swords will be the same as well. So you've got swords here, like so. Freeze. Rerolls. All missed. And force to wound. So 3+. Pretty good. Another one does get 3. That was a good roll there. Needed to be a good one. And then we've scored a 3. That becomes a 2. That's 2 wounds. That's enough. That's another whole model gone. So it just enhances the damage that they can do. We'll let the Sanguinor see what he can help out with here. Freeze. It's good. Pressure here. 1s and 2s of trouble. There's another one. D3. Another one that's important. So Sanguinor's helped out. It's Terminators brought down. It's those. The help there with the D3 damage coming from the weaponry there has caused trouble. And then him fighting back. It's going to need 4s. He's failed. So say he did get a couple of hits. Might take out 1 or 2 at the most. But he's in big trouble. So it just shows you, even against invulns, if they can get past that, against targets like Wraiths, for example, with their really good invuln save, but if you can get past that and then start causing D3 wounds, you can start hacking your way even through targets like that. So you saw the Sanguinor helping out the unit in combat. That's the great advantage of having him joining in. He prevented a Terminator from fighting there and causing trouble to that unit. The benefits he grants to them, the extra attack, and then them in return, because he's with them, then they get the rerolls. So he is a massive enhancement to this unit here. So if you're thinking of taking Sanguinary Guard, seriously consider taking the Sanguinor. He's an excellent unit to take. And 170 points, he's not the most expensive HQ, sort of a medium points cost. And then by himself, he's decent enough. The other great thing is Blood Angels infantry units. So you don't have to use them just to benefit them. You can benefit other units like Terminators, Assault Marines, all sorts. Can be benefited by his +1 attacks. So the best combination is them, but by all means you can use them for other combinations as well. So leave your comments and feedback about the Sanguinor, what you think of him, how good he is. If you think he's rubbish, then say that and give your reasons. And then if you think he's good, what combinations, battlefield experience, leave all that in the comment section just there. But I rate him. I'm still going to keep him for now. I hope to still use him as the Warlord for this new Blood Angels list that's coming along. And you've had a glimpse here of the combination that I want to use here with one of these Blood Angels infantry units. There he is. That's the Sanguinor for Blood Angels in 8th edition. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.